Call the meeting to order.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Williams, Bott,
Yes. First is the approval of the January 26 work session.
I move approval of those minutes.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Bott,
Abstain as I was absent. Next is the minutes of the regular session, January 26.
I move approval of those minutes.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Bott,
Abstain as I was absent. And now with the approval of the February 9 regular session minutes.
I move approval of those minutes.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
I have to abstain because I wasn't here.
Lesh,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes. Next, we have a resolution, bill number 2015-11, a resolution adopting residential refuse rates covering anticipated cost of sanitation services beginning April 1, 2015. Up for reading and passage. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor, this is for the annual pricing adjustment. I will turn to Roger Haynes to cover the details.
Good evening. Each year, city staff provides to council a summary of projected costs associated with operating the sanitation fund for the upcoming 12-month cycle, which begins on April 1st. Staff provides to council this evening a base sanitation fund estimated expenditure summary totaling $566,264 for the 12-month period beginning April 1st, 2015 and ending on March 31st, 2016. Staff has taken into consideration residential unit pricing within the refuse services contract, which is with Dane, along with other operating expenses related to sanitation services provided by the city. To meet the fund's anticipated annual expenditures and maintain a fund balance compliant to our fund balance policy, staff is proposing a monthly service fee increase of 2.6% or 28 cents per month to each residential location served. Staff has provided for the public and council to review a sanitation rate survey of 15 municipalities in a comparison to our pricing to others. On the average, our proposed rate structure is $3.45 per month less on the base rate and $2.74 less per month based on the fuel-adjusted rate cap than the average of the 15 municipalities surveyed. The price separation between our proposed rate and the average rate of those 15 municipalities surveyed has widened in comparison to the last year, which means our value is even greater in comparison to the other 15 communities surveyed. Staff recommends that council approve the attached resolution setting a monthly residential refuse service base rate of $11.11 with a fuel cost adjusted rate cap of $11.82 for the 12-month period beginning April 1st, 2015 through March 31st, 2016. Just as a note, in order to reach the $11.82 rate cap, diesel fuel would have to hit $5.80 per gallon during this 12-month time frame, which a couple of years ago we might thought was possible, but right now it's looking pretty good that we can stay well below that. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
The brush chipping amount, is that the same as last year?
Ron, that is, and as you may see in that residential refuse Excel spreadsheet, we've got an asterisk there, and then also an asterisk on the personnel services. When we go to do the actual budget for 2016, we will, to keep this rate in line, we're looking at having around $91,000 to $92,000 between those two. This will be a developing budget, so we don't know whether our brush grinding may be more or less, or whether our personnel cost services will be more or less, but we'll stay within that $92,000 cap so that we can keep this rate as attractive as we've mentioned this evening.
So the personnel services, do you know what that figure was last year?
Within $1,000.
Within $1,000, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I move for reading of bill number 2015-11.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Lush.
Yes.
Bott.
Yes.
Bill number 2015-11, a resolution adopting residential refuge rates covering anticipated cost of sanitation services beginning April 1, 2015. Whereas the City of Mexico contracted with Dade's Waste Disposal Incorporated to provide residential sanitary services, and whereas the contracts include annual pricing adjustments that are set to take place April 1st of each year, and whereas in addition to the sanitary services contract, other operating expenses related to sanitary services provided by the city must be properly funded through user fees. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the base rate for sanitation services will be $10.96 per month plus 15 cents for the landfill post-closure fund, equaling a fee of $11.11 per household. That the city, Section 2, that the City Council set the monthly rate, base rate for sanitation services in the amount of $11.11 with a fuel cost adjusted rate cap of $11.82 for the 12 months period beginning April 1, 2015 through March 31, 2016. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the time of its passage. Move for passage of bill number 2015-11.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Lush.
Yes.
Bott.
Yes. Next is next resolution is bill number 2015-12, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with the Presser Performing Arts Center for requested funding from the Mexico tourism tax. Up for reading and passage. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor. The Tourism Commission has reviewed, and has a recommendation for funding from the tourism fund. And to cover the details, I will turn to Roger Haynes.
The Tourism Commission met on Tuesday, February 17th. As part of their meeting, the commission reviewed an application request for tourism funding from Presser Performing Arts Center for the 2015 Easter Pageant Play, which is scheduled to run on March 27th, 28th, and 29th. The funding request was in the amount of $2,500. This is a new request, and what I mean by that is not one that we've historically received in the past. It's my understanding that this particular request would be every other year rather than each year. The commission, based on review of the fund's budget, funds previously committed, historical requests likely to repeat later this fiscal year, in consideration of maintaining a small balance of funds for future requests for fiscal year 2015 that are unknown at this time, recommends funding of $1,500. Staff recommends that council concur with the Mexico Tourism Commission's recommendation and proceed with reading and passage of the attached resolution. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
You say they're not supposed to solicit funds every other year?
This particular play, they plan every other year. And if they keep with that particular pattern, that works well for the fund from the fact that it's on the staggered years of when we do the funding for the Santa train. So if that happens to work that way, that's a good fortune as far as being able to fund both of those activities.
The resolution specifies that there's an agreement for the city manager to sign. That agreement contains the amount
Yes,
as recommended by the city, or the, yeah.
that is correct.
Okay.
I move for reading of Bill number 2015-12.
I'll second that.
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Lesh?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Bill number 2015-12, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with the Presser Performing Arts Center for requested funding from the Mexico Tourism Tax. Whereas the Mexico Tourism Commission recommends the city council that the Presser Performing Arts Center be allowed to receive tourism funding for their tourism advertising campaign. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, that the city manager be authorized to enter into an agreement on behalf of the City of Mexico with the Presser Performing Arts Center for tourism funding. Section 2, this resolution shall be of full force and effect from and after the time of passage. I move for passage of bill number 2015-12.
Second.
Miller?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Lesh?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes. Next resolution is Bill number 2015-13, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Willis Brothers Incorporated for repair of the Route D lift station controls. Up for reading and passage. Bruce?
Yes, this project is for the Route D lift station and repairs that we have budgeted to cover the details of the project, and the bids received. We'll turn to Kenzie Russell.
This is the companion project to the parallel force main, which has been completed, that serves the Route D or Dawn Foods lift station and pumps north up to approximately Graff's, where it goes into a gravity system before it goes on to the next pump station. Pump station's about 25 years old. It is one of our capital budgeted projects this year. We advertised for bids. We had 3 contractors take out plans on the bids on the project, but we only had 1 bid. That was from Willis Brothers of Macon. Willis Brothers has done work with us here in the community before. They do a good job, so we didn't have any problem with their bid. Their bid of $30,071.45 is within our budget of $37,500. In checking with the other contractors as to why they didn't bid, S&M Electrical Contractors of Jefferson City indicated that they were having trouble getting information from vendors, suppliers, in time, pricing on materials basically in time to get a bid in. Flowmaster, they did not get their bid turned in.
Has the body been recovered?
The wife was a little aggravated when I called and asked about it there. But we have reviewed, and a lot of times when there's just 1 bid, we would have a question about accepting that. In this case, we think it's a fair bid, and because the labor is pretty well fixed by prevailing wage, and the supplies are, the major items are pretty well fixed by franchise agreement on distributors, and that there's only 1 distributor available for some of the major components. We don't think rebidding is going to get us much better price than what we have, and since we have a good contractor and what we feel is a good price, we're recommending that we go ahead and award the contract.
Does Willis Brothers think that they'll be able to get the supplies that they need to be able to do that? Do they anticipate any problem?
Yes, the major components come from Vandevanter in St. Louis, and they assured us that Vandevanter had given them the pricing and all that they needed, so.
Your Honor, if there's no further questions, I move for reading of bill number 2015-13.
Second.
Miller?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Lesh?
Yes.
Yes.
Bill number 2015-13, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Willis Brothers Incorporated for repair of the Route D lift station controls. Whereas the Route D parallel force main project to separate flows from the Walmart lift station is now complete, and whereas in order to finish the upgrades, an invitation to bid was advertised to rehabilitate and replace the controls, and whereas Willis Brothers Incorporated of Macon, Missouri submitted a bid to complete the work, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the city manager is authorized to sign contract documents with Willis Brothers Incorporated to rehabilitate and replace the Route D lift station controls. Section 2, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the time of its passage. I would move for passage of Bill number 2015-13.
Second.
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Lush?
Yes.
Fox?
Yes. Next, we have an ordinance, bill number 2015-14, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute an aviation project consultant agreement with Crawford Murphy and Tilly Incorporated for professional services at the Mexico Memorial Airport. So for 2 readings by title only and passage. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor, we have budgeted for the engineering services to update the airport layout plan. The majority of the cost is grant funded. To cover the details of it, I will turn to Russell Barnett.
Yes, welcome back to the wonderful world of airport acronyms. Every 5 years, a aviation project consultant agreement needs to be completed and done for airport layout plan. The layout plan lines out what projects you plan to do within the next few years, one of which is to hopefully eliminate the need to eliminate a certain section of runway on the west end of the 5,500 foot runway that we currently have. On the east end is a current restriction placed on it because of the tanks that had been on that site within the flight path. Those have been removed years ago, and we hope to be able to gain that piece back and not have to eliminate the west side, to simplify it and use few acronyms. That's what the airport layout plan will partially do. We do have some additional funds that we will be hopefully putting towards another section for some taxiway improvements and whatnot. But we had budgeted $215,000. The estimate, the grant is not to exceed $177,500 of that, and 10% would be covered by the city. We receive on a yearly basis $150,000 from the federal government to use towards airport improvements. They have a priority list of different things that they do. Last year, as you guys may recall, one of which is a high priority is improvements to the runway itself, fixing cracks, et cetera, et cetera. We did that plan. This report will lay out a foundation of different priorities, getting us towards finally fixing this issue with the runway. Does that help?
No. In our claims, we're paying a $2,400 claim at this time for to Rude and Associates for airport layout plan.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Now, is that a continuing cost? Or?
Because of the cost to the engineering firm to do this update to the airport layout plan, we needed to do from MoDOT Aviation's folks, we needed to have an independent cost analysis done, and that's what that $2,400 is for the independent cost analysis, which did end up saying that yes, their fees are within the lines of reality. Federal
We
government
had
reality.
someone analyze a bid to make sure the bid was okay.
Yeah, once it reaches a certain dollar threshold, MoDOT requires that.
Ain't government wonderful?
Okay, Russell, I want to understand now. Where are we with the runway thing? Are we still scooting it down effectively? moving things, or are we leaving it the way it is, or what are we, what's the?
Right now, we're leaving it the way it is. But we can't do anything until we have it documented in the airport layout plan as to what we're wanting to do.
Okay.
And that's our first step in eliminating the issue with the east side of it, and which will then hopefully take care of what we need to do on the west side currently, which is what they want us to remove 250 feet of the runway on the west end, which we are balking at. And if there's no need to have a threshold on the east side and we can get that back, then that should eliminate the need to take the runway out on the west side.
It's been a long time making sense out of something that didn't make sense, or whatever.
I hope this settles this. I have to have someplace to land my planes at.
You'll get there someday. It'll be all right.
I move for reading of bill number 2015-14.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Bill number 2015-14, an ordinance, the city manager, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute an aviation project consultant agreement with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley Incorporated for professional services at the Mexico Memorial Airport. Move for second reading by title only of bill number 2015-14.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Bill number 2015-14, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute an aviation project consultant agreement with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley Incorporated for professional services at the Mexico Memorial Airport. Move for passage of bill number 2015-14.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes. The next ordinance is Bill Number 2015-15, an ordinance amending Chapter 7, Article 10, Schedule 20, Motor Vehicles and Traffic Schedules of the Mexico City Code, for two readings by title only and passage. Bruce?
Yes, we've actually had a request to remove a parking zone restriction, and to cover the details, we will turn to Kenzie Russell.
This is part of our traffic layout plan, where you can fly your car and park it. This is...
On the east side or the west side?
Oh, seriously. We had a request from the Mexico Public Schools, came through the school resource officer at the school, to eliminate the limited time parking in front of Hawthorne School. That's a 10-minute parking zone. It was established there for drop-off and pickup of kids. Since they have constructed the drive around the school, they want to make that parking available for a longer period of time. Public Safety put bags over the signs for a period of time to see if there were going to be any issues with it. There have not been issues, and so we're bringing this forward to essentially remove this 10-minute parking zone in front of the school. There's a map there in your packet that shows where it is. It's on the south side of the street there in front of Hawthorne School, basically.
Any questions?
Make a motion, I read bill number 2015-15, two readings by title only.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Bill number 2015-15, ordinance amending Chapter 7, Article 10, Schedule 20 of the Missouri Vehicle and Traffic Schedules of the City of Mexico Code. I move for second reading.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Lush.
Yes.
Fox.
Yes.
Bill number 2015-50, an ordinance amending Chapter 7, Article 10, Schedule 20 of the Motor Vehicles and Traffic Schedules of the Mexico City Code. Move for passage of bill number 2015.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Lush.
Yes.
Fox.
Yes. Next order of business is the claims.
Move we pay the claims.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Lush.
Yes.
Fox.
Yes. Now we have council comments. Councilman Lesh.
I appreciate the public safety participating in the Click It or Ticket. I think that's an important campaign that we have, and you know, if people would just wear those seat belts, they save a lot of lives and a lot of injuries, so that's important. A couple of months ago, we talked about some changes in an ordinance that might make it easier for the city to address some of these concerns with structures. Do we know where that's at today?
Lou, do you have any update at all?
With regard to the structure in question on East Promenade, I know the building inspector checked with the owner. There was a medical problem there. I believe it was a knee replacement, if I recall correctly. So that permit has been extended to March the 28th. They were to give the owner time to complete that. I haven't talked thoroughly with Steve about it, but my suggestion, I think, is going to be that we have a period of time and then be able to grant one extension for good cause in the discretion of the building inspector. Now, is that going to cure every problem we have? No, but it'll give us some more, frankly, leverage to urge the owner or the contractor to get the job done. And if they're not completed, building permits revoked, then we have a job stopped, and then we'll have to decide what we're going to do with that. But it's something that we're looking at, and Steve has made the inquiry of the people involved in this particular situation.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Councilman Nichols.
That's it? Shannon, I'm sorry I missed your damn story. I'll try to catch up on that later on. Snow removal went quite well this time. Didn't hear everybody complaining all about it, so it's a good thing. So yours.
I'd just be kind of interested to know how the new salt building worked for us out there, whether that caused any problems or worked out pretty well.
No, it's worked fine. We've taken possession of the salt that we bought last summer.
170 tons or something?
125 tons.
125.
We had about 30 or so ton carryover, and that's been working out fine for us there. If any of you'd like to stop in, see what it looks like on the inside, come on by.
Are you using beet juice?
We are not using beet juice. We do have some calcium chloride on hand that we can add to help with lower temperatures there.
Okay, I have no,
Got one more question.
I'm sorry.
The blue stuff that the schools use, do you have any idea what that is?
Blue stuff.
Yeah, that's right. It's some kind of an ice melt, something. I see it out in the road right in front of the school, so. About
Calcium
something.
chloride, maybe.
Not offhand, I'm assuming it's probably a commercial product of some sort.
There's nothing? I don't believe I have anything this evening. We're down to public comments. And seeing none, I move we adjourn.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols. Lush.
Yes.
Fox.
Yes.
You missed that.